Republic had questioned the pro-Maoist brigade. The Delhi police has now stated that these people had been picked up for allegedly obstructing personnel, assaulting them, blocking the road. Let me go across to Ishan, who's joining us on the phone line. Ishan, Republic questions the pro-Maoist brigade. What sort of a sense are we getting from the words that are coming from them?
Absolutely. The protesters had initially started their protesting and making statements that this is a protest against environmental pollution and the rising AQI levels in Delhi. However, the scene at India Gate quickly changed once the protest actually began, and it was seen that a lot of the protesters were carrying posters and banners with them, which was significant to the slain Maoist leader in the northeast. Now, these Maoist leaders that were slain in this was actually alleged that presented serious allegations against him of killing of police officers and others. However, Delhi police has serious allegations before Patiala House Court regarding the protesters after demonstrating against air pollution turned pro-Naxal movement, characterized it more than a spontaneous environmental protest, alleging that the demonstrators came fully equipped and used chili powder and pepper spray on police personnel during the confrontation. According to Delhi police submissions, protests were not simply citizens demanding clean air, but individuals who had come prepared for a confrontation. Deputy Commissioner of Police said that the incident is a very unusual, stating that it is the first time protesters used pepper spray on officials, and they were hindering traffic laws, and they were hindering the traffic movement at India Gate. And India Gate is a sensitive location, and protests there are not usually permitted. And these protesters had not sought any prior permission for holding of such protests in this location. And now, after that, when they assaulted the Delhi police officials, they were they were arrested, and FIRs against them have been registered. Now, after registering of these FIRs, they are being produced before the Patiala House Court, and once the protesters are produced before the Patiala House Court, remand of them may be sought, and they might even be interrogated further. This shows the intent of the protesters were not simply to raise their voices against pollution, but also to somehow ignite the terror and the show a kind of hero worship to the slain Naxal leaders.
I just want you to stay with us for a moment and stay with us. We're going to now go and see that reaction that's come in from my colleague Soumya, who tried to question the protesters.
Please tell, why were you raising slogans against a Maoist commander who is behind so many deaths, who's responsible for so many deaths? Can you please respond? Why were you raising slogans in favor? Can you please respond? On purpose, did you use the chili spray? Why were you sympathizing in favor of a Maoist commander? Can you please respond?
Hidma was the most wanted Naxalist, Maoist. I go across to my colleague Soumya, who bravely confronted these people, defiant as they stand in the court. Soumya, you asked them the question, why were they raising slogans in favor of Hidma? They had no answer. They understood the question, but they remained completely quiet about it.
Yes, well, Rhythm, as you saw also when I tried to question them, all of them did hear the question, did acknowledge for that matter also. If you look at the body language, they did acknowledge also. It was not like they were shying away from facing the camera or anything like that. They did acknowledge the question as well, but they kept mum throughout the questioning as to why they were sympathizing with a Maoist terrorist who is behind so many deaths, so many killings. More than 200 security personnel have lost their lives in major 20 attacks. This Hidma, the Maoist terrorist, is behind 20 major attacks in Chhattisgarh from since 2004 and 2024. So many security personnel have lost lives. around more than 76 civilians have also over the years have lost lives in many such attacks. He's behind many such attacks. So we did try to question them. However, they remained mum. They did acknowledge the question, but they kept mum. However, as to we talk about the development with regards to how things are panning out inside the Patiala House Court, these protesters who have been arrested in total, 23 now as we speak, 23 arrests have been made, and 2 different FIRs have been registered, one at Kartavyapath Police Station and another at Sansad Marg Police Station here in the national capital. So all of those who have been arrested by the Delhi police, they are being brought here at the Patiala House Court in different batches. In different batches, they are being produced before the judge. In the first 3 batches, the order has been reserved with regards to the remand. As we speak, more people, those who have been arrested are being produced inside the court in front of the judge. So we will get more details with regards to the remand soon.
Protests were over the encounter of top Maoist commander Madhvi Hidma. He was killed by our forces, and this is the big story that India had been speaking about. I want to once again go across to that confrontation that Soumya had with these people who look like they don't understand what's happening, but the protests and the posters they had with them in which they've said red salute, red salam to Comrade Hidma clearly shows in the garb of pollution they were only trying to put forward a very dangerous mindset of Maoism. Once again, we play out that interaction that Soumya had.
Can you please tell why were you raising slogans against a Maoist commander who is behind so many deaths, who's responsible for so many deaths? Can you please respond? Why were you raising slogans in favor? Can you please respond? On purpose, did you use the chili spray? Why were you sympathizing in favor of a Maoist commander? Can you please respond?
This is a top focus because when they're trying to compete and when they're trying to look at people who have been named as the most wanted, it becomes very dangerous. I want to now meanwhile show you WhatsApp chats, viewers, that have revealed a potential link between Jawaharlal Nehru University, the JNU, and this recent Delhi protest at India Gate. The protest, which was ostensibly in the garb of air pollution, was actually not. It was a violent protest. The demonstrators raised slogans supporting the Maoist leader Madhvi Hidma. They had protests and placards with them. Hidma had been recently killed in an encounter in Andhra Pradesh. The BJP had accused the protests of being urban Naxals and linked them to the left-aligned unions of JNU. We spoke to ABVP students here, and this is what they said.
ये जो कल प्रदर्शन के नाम पे ये लोग गए थे, इन्होंने नारा लगाया माधवी हिडमा अमर रहे, इनके जहाँ घर घर से जहाँ से भी हिडमा, आप कितने हिडमा मारोगे, हर घर से हिडमा निकलेगा, ऐसे देश विरोधी नारे लगाते हैं ये सारे। इसमें बहुत से ऐसे लोग थे जो देश विरोधी तत्व थे, जो देश के खिलाफ बातें करते हैं। ये वहाँ पे जाते हैं पॉल्यूशन के खिलाफ धरना देने, लेकिन ये देश विरोधी तत्वों के लिए नारे लगाते हैं, बहुत ही गलत है।
कौन लोग थे अब जो करे ये लोग जाते हैं नारे लगाते हैं?
इसमें मोस्टली लोग देश विरोधी थे। मोस्टली लोग देश विरोधी थे इन द सेंस कि ये वहाँ पे गए थे किसी और चीज़ के लिए, लेकिन उसको दूसरे तरह से ये देश के खिलाफ दिखाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं।
सबसे पहले मैं आप लोग को बताना चाहूँगा कि ये और कोई नहीं है, ये अर्बन नक्सल्स है जिनके पेट में दर्द शुरू हो जाता है। और हिडमा के बारे में मैं आपको पूरा बताना चाहता हूँ आज कि 2010 में जब दंतेवाड़ा में हमारे 76 CRPF के जवान मारे जाते हैं, तब यहाँ पे ढोल नगाड़े बजाए जाते हैं, JNU को बदनाम किया जाता है, JNU की छवि को पूरी तरह से ख़राब किया जाता है। उसके बाद 2013 में जब जिमराम घाटी अटैक होता है, उसमें 27 पीपल किल्ड, समझ लीजिए 27 लोगों की मौत हो जाती है। उसमें कांग्रेस की भी लीडरशिप के कई लोगों के, सीनियर लीडरशिप की मौत हो जाती है। आज जो कांग्रेस, जिसको देश के मोदी जी के साथ आना चाहिए, जिसको राष्ट्र के साथ आना चाहिए और कदम से कदम मिला के इस नक्सलवाद की लड़ाई में सामने खड़े होना चाहिए। वो आज पीछे से जाके उनको बैकिंग दे रहा है। कितने शर्म की बात है कि जब देश विरोधी यहाँ नारे लग रहे हैं।
अर्बन जो नक्सल्स हैं ये एक हाथी की तरह, इनके खाने के दांत कुछ और होते हैं और दिखाने के कुछ और होते हैं। तो ये मतलब प्रोटेस्ट किसी और चीज़ के लिए करने जाएंगे और करेंगे वहाँ कुछ और। तो वैसे ही गए पॉल्यूशन के लिए और वहाँ जय हिडमा अमर रहे हिडमा जैसे नारे लगाते हैं, और उसके साथ साथ में जो पुलिस पर्सनल्स वहाँ सिक्योरिटी में तैनात थे उनकी आंखों में ब्लैक पेपर छिड़क के उनको हार्म करके और वो प्रोटेस्ट साइट पे आगे लीड करते रहे।
पॉल्यूशन को लेके जो अभी प्रोटेस्ट हो रहा था, प्रोटेस्ट करने का सबका अधिकार है, वो शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से प्रोटेस्ट करे तो अलग बात है, पर वहाँ पे जाके एक नक्सली के सपोर्ट में, नक्सल गतिविधि के सपोर्ट में जो नारे लगाए गए हैं वो बहुत ही गलत है। जिस तरीके से हिडमा जो मारा गया है, सबको पता है कि वो किस तरीके से उस पर 100 से ज़्यादा लोगों को, 100 से ज़्यादा सीआरपीएफ जवानों को मारने का साजिश जो है वो रचा था, और उसकी जो मौत हुई है वो बहुत सबके लिए बहुत ही प्राउड की बात है। पूरे सेंट्रल आर्म्ड फोर्सेस और जो इंडियन आर्म्ड फोर्सेस है उनके लिए प्राउड की बात है। हम सभी भी यहाँ जवाहरलाल नेहरू विश्वविद्यालय में भी एबीवीपी ने इसको सेलिब्रेट किया था, लेकिन जो यहाँ पे लेफ्टिस्ट है, जो वहाँ पे भी जो लोग गए हैं वो लोग भी वही लोग हैं, वो अर्बन नक्सल्स हैं जो यहाँ पे पढ़ाई करते हैं और वहाँ पे नक्सली गतिविधि को सपोर्ट करते हैं।
और कल जो माहौल बनाया गया था इंडिया गेट पे, वो प्रोटेस्ट को लेके था, प्रदूषण को लेके। लेकिन यहाँ के लेफ्टिस्ट लंपन द्वारा जो वहाँ पे हिडमा अमर रहे, हिडमा की शहादत दी गई, उनके लिए मोरल दिखाया गया, जो अपना इमोशन था इन लोगों का, ये काफ़ी निंदनीय चीज़ है। और गवर्नमेंट को बाहरी चीज़ों से ज़्यादा अंदर की चीज़ों पे ध्यान देना चाहिए। वो तो नक्सली गुंडे मतलब प्रॉपर नक्सली हैं, लेकिन ये छात्र के रूप में असली नक्सली यहाँ भी पनप रहे हैं। और यहाँ पे जेएनयू के अंदर जो माहौल कल खराब कर रहे हैं, और
जेएनयू के बच्चे,
यस, जेएनयू के छात्र भी थे वहाँ और प्रोटेस्ट में शामिल हुए थे। उन्होंने ही हिडमा के मतलब हिडमा के सपोर्ट में नारे लगाए थे।